Hello, guys. Good day. This is Anna of Reinforcement Club. Today, we are going to talk about the good child syndrome. So, this subject is much applicable to those people who have history of the good child syndrome, or for parents who are doing their best to raise their kids into a responsible adults with all their might and financial assets to raise the best kids in the world. So, this one's for you. So, a good child syndrome is a psychological phenomenon characterized by a child feeling an overwhelming pressure to meet high standards, to excel in various aspects in life, and seek approval from authority figures, especially their parents. And this syndrome may have significant impact on their mental health, self esteem, and overall well being. So the manifestations of the good child syndrome is number one, perfectionism. The child will aim to be flawless in all aspects in life, whether it be academics, extracurricular activities like sports, drama, or personal relationships. And they're extremely scared of failing because they think that whenever they give their parents disappointments, they might not give the best love in the world from mom and dad. So whether they like it or not, they have to strive hard to see the smile on the face of mom and dad, to get the hug and kisses from mommy and daddy. The second one is approval seeking behavior. The child will feel the need of constant validation and praise from parents, teachers, and other authority figures at the expense of their own needs and desires. That even though they really love to have playtime, but you know, they still want to be the top of the class. They prefer to study hard to get the gold medal from grade 1 to grade 5, because that's what makes their parents happy. And some parents, they are quite, supportive to that, and they even study with their kids in spite of the fact that their kids want to have rest and playtime. Another thing is that the child will push themselves to overachieve, taking excessive responsibilities and commitments to prove their worth to their parents. That is overachievement. That they don't really care if they step on others, or others will take advantage on them, just as long as they excel in that area and that makes their parents happy, then that makes their life worth it. Another thing is that the child will avoid conflict. They have the fear of disappointing others and being perceived as imperfect. So they they actually sometimes they set aside their own needs, their opinions, because they don't want to mess with other people. When they cross the line of messing other people, to them it's like they are becoming a bad child. If you know if it turned out that they punch their classmates' face because it's really too much, it makes them a bad child, and their parents wouldn't like that. Even though sometimes they really have to stand for themselves, to fight for themselves, but they became the victim of bullies for the sake of not for the sake of it, for the sake of not messing the entire society. The parents, the teachers, they just ignore themselves. Lastly, you know, a good child syndrome can give a child high levels of stress and anxiety. They have the pressure to constantly meet the unrealistic standards, and in order to meet the expectations that has been imposed to them. Like, for example, in the Philippines, the academics, the school is starting to reward kids in the kindergarten or crush level, giving them awards, the top of the class, first honor, second honor, and then from grade 1 to grade 6, even high school, they receive awards. So parents are looking up to it. the Asians, or not all Asians, but in my community, most of the parents are, they're really the one caring for kids. They are stay-at-home mom, which is good, but they sometimes could pressure the kids to really be, top of the class, to be the best in the class, because they hang out with other moms and they talk about the achievement of their kids and whereabouts. And the only way to really shine as a parent, which is also kind of fulfilling, when you're a parent, is to see your child excelling in school. So they also, parents also pursue studying with kids, with the kids, and even somehow, some way could pressure them, because as a kid, you know, playtime is the best time to, but in order to see, happiness or smile on mommy's face or daddy's face, they have to study in order to excel in class. So that's the reason why they feel a high level of stress and anxiety to maintain their status, their high status, their perfection as to themselves. It's how they perceive themselves. The good child syndrome has top three potential causes. Number one is family dynamics. Family environments which has highly, you know, has high emphasis on achievement and will only give love to kids who are excelling in school, in sports, or will only parents who will only give love to their kids if they are being like recognized by the teacher as a good girl. So there are also families who are truly high achieving, like your brothers and sisters are top of the class, as well as your cousins are top of the class in the same school. They have good history in that school, and here you are. You just want to live a normal life, being yourself as a child. You just want to have a playtime, but you end up in the study room because you have to be like your brothers and sisters who are excelling in the class. But that's not really your priority. But you still end up in the study room because you have to get an award just like your brothers and sisters. Yeah, that's it's quite funny to hear, but when you are in that situation, it's a real deal. So parents also, inadvertently reinforce perfectionistic tendencies through their behavior and parenting styles. That they're making their elder brothers and sisters as an example, their cousins or their best friends children who are really good in that area. They also want their child to excel in that area, even though that's not really the child's priority. The second one is cultural expectations, societal norms and cultural values that prioritize achievements and success, which exacerbates the pressure that the child feel. So it actually can put a hole on a child's self-esteem when when the society only awards those best ones according to their standards. For example, in my community again, when I was younger, like primary school, I can hear the parents giving praise to my classmates, my neighbors who are top of the class. Their parents are telling other parents, including my aunts and dad, that their kids are excelling in school. They're top of the class. Look at my child; she got a gold medal. And here I am. I don't know what to do. But the good thing is that my dad isn't really particular about it. So that's what I have observed. And whenever I go out from the classroom, the moms are the mammies are waiting outside for their kids, asking them how was your day? Did you eat your lunch? How's your assignment going? And then some kids who are not really quite doing well, but they're just being themselves. They can They can get something from their mom because their teacher can, immediately make time for their parents because their parents are just outside the classroom, so they can immediately talk to the parents and then giving out about their child's problems and performance, and then there you go. The child can get something from their parents. But not all parents are giving pressure to their children. Some parents are chill. Some parents take their children as they are, and with or without awards, those moms still love them, still hug them after class, give them kisses, with or without awards. And that's the best thing I've ever seen. Whenever I, whenever the class ends, well, my dad was busy, so I was by myself and I can be myself all the way. Well, there's a good side and downside to that, but that's my story. And the last but not the least cause of potential cause of a good child syndrome is personal insecurities. So the child might have underlying feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem that they make it up to constantly seek validation and approval from others by way of really pressuring themselves to excel in class, to excel in sports, because they have insecurities. They don't Insecurities like they don't want to be a loser. They don't want to lose in the game. They don't like the feeling of not having an award. They have their own personal insecurities, and that's them. It's normal. Everybody has insecurities, and it's up to every individual how to get over it, how to really find a way to overcome insecurities. So everybody has it. It's just that some kids channel those insecurities into becoming the best of the best, and that what really happens to the greatest athletes in Olympics. They excel in other areas because they cannot catch up in the with the expectations of the teachers, the expectations of the society. So they excel in sports. Now, overcoming the good child syndrome requires a combination of self awareness, compassion, and sometimes support from others. So, here are some strategies to overcome the good child syndrome. The first one is develop self awareness. You have to know yourself, you have to figure out the patterns of perfectionism and approval seeking behavior. It all starts from ourselves. When we feel that it's really too much and it's not healthy anymore, we're not in good form, and our mental health is all over the place, you need to get to know yourself. You need to figure out the problem here. You need to figure out you. And if you need help, yeah, you can talk to your trusted friends, family members, or get therapies. That is one way to seek support. Self awareness, and if you need help to really figure out the main problem, which is in which you feel that it's not working for you anymore, second one is seek support. The third one is you need to challenge the your own expectations. Sometimes there are some goals which is supposed to be long term, but your actions today doesn't seem to really connect to those long-term goals. So instead of really thinking about those frustrating 5 years, 10 years goal, you have to cut them down to small steps, making them yearly goals, down to monthly goals, down to weekly goals, down to daily goals. And it all ends up to building good habits. So you need to challenge those, especially those unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic could be achievable, but it takes time. You need to understand that great things, like, for example, there's a saying that Rome isn't built in the day. I'm not sure if I'm saying the right word, but great things are built in time. You need to work on that. You need to undergo the process of failures and hurt and pain and suffering plus happiness in order to be the best version of yourself. And another thing is you need to practice self compassion. You need to understand that making mistakes and accepting imperfection is the most liberating thing that you can ever give to yourself. Nobody's perfect. You can even ask Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, who are extremely rich. They have achieved those empire without being perfect. Making mistakes is helpful as long as you're learning from those mistakes and never do it again. You fail forward, make mistakes fast, but not to the point that you are killing other people. You're not being law abiding anymore. It You have to focus. You need to work on yourself and set realistic goals. Focus on setting achievable goals, especially when you have long-term goals. If you are into short-term goals like 2 months, 3 months, most probably you would understand, or how to really find a way in order to achieve those 3-year goal, 5-year goal. You would understand that you need to cut down the the actions, the executions into small steps down to your regular daily goal, heading to your 3-year goal, 5-year goal. You need to do something every day if you want to build big or great things. And another step to overcome this good child syndrome is learn assertiveness. You need to, it's important to express your own needs, your desires, and boundaries in a healthy manner. Look, not all the time that you can be 100%, that you can express your feelings in a good way, in a nice way. Sometimes there are really some situations or days wherein, you can actually give out to someone in that makes them, that could cross them, resulting to misunderstanding, or it could be fight or conflicts. And you can use that as an opportunity for you to learn something, to internalize what's really going on, and then solve the problem. And that's another way to practice self-compassion, that sometimes we make mistakes, and most importantly, learn from it. So yeah, let me recap. Number one is develop self-awareness. Second one is challenge unrealistic expectations. The third one is practice self-compassion. Fourth one is set realistic goals. The fifth one is learn assertiveness. And lastly, seek support, really, which I turned out to be the second part, after self awareness, because when you find out really, what's really going on and it's hard to cope up, you need to seek support from your trusted family members and friends or therapists. So those are the ways to overcome the good child syndrome. If you ever love this message today, you can share it to your family and friends. Click subscribe, including the notification button. You can follow me in Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and thank you so much for your time today. Have a lovely day ahead. Bye. This is Anne of Reinforcement Club.